Fellow Toastmasters, yes, we've all spent a whopping $39 so we can be here for another 6 months. Why? It's because we get an education, we are entertained, and we are surrounded by our friends. What is the return on our $39? Quite simply put, it's personal growth. How do we maximize this investment? Through some evaluation and some action that follows. And you got to be a little bit somewhat reflective. So let's go ahead and move into doing some evaluation. Now, it's human nature that there's going to be some uncomfortable situations. It's also human nature that there's going to be some very comfortable situations. And thirdly, it's human nature to want to succeed. Let me give you the first time I can remember of being in an uncomfortable situation. I was screaming my head off because someone was holding me by my ankles and slapping me on my rear. I was 2 seconds old. That was a very uncomfortable situation. But let's move forward now. I'm sure all of you can remember whether it's that first one or whether it's many that have occurred down the road, some uncomfortable situations. I'd like to start off and relate it to Toastmasters. When I look at our schedule, one of the first things I look for is the job descriptions, the assignments, and I hope that I don't get something that makes me uncomfortable. What makes me uncomfortable? Giving a joke. I absolutely hate that. Being an evaluator. I also dislike that because you're under the gun to create something. I don't like to be under the gun. Giving a speech. I don't jump up for joy when I'm on the schedule to do a speech. And when I evaluate why, it's a very personal reason, as it would be for each one of you. Why don't I like to do a joke? To me, it's not creative. I'm a very creative individual. Joke is a joke is a joke. And I don't have the ability to create one, and I don't like looking for jokes. Being an evaluator, why don't I like that? I think it's primarily just because of the time frame. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and doing an evaluation under a condensed time frame, I feel I'm not doing the best that I can do. Giving a speech, I know what my deficiencies are. I have yet to overcome a lot of them. And for that reason, I haven't figured out yet how to do that. And to me, getting up and not overcoming some of those things is an uncomfortable situation for me. You need to look at yourselves and do that kind of an evaluation. Now, for situations where I'm comfortable in, when I see TT next to my name, yes! Being Table Topics Master. Why do I enjoy that so much? Maybe, just maybe, it's because I like to put other people in a position to squirm. Put them under the gun. But in reality, what it is, I get to be extremely creative when I create the table topics. And I create them always from scratch. So, when I'm doing table topics, I'd like to give each one of you a tip on how not to be called when I'm doing them. Because I know many of you dread the fact that I get to do table topics occasionally. You should raise your hand and say, "Pick me! Pick me!" And I won't. Or you could crawl underneath the table. Rest assured, I will not pick you. But keep in mind that if you do those two things and somebody else is up here doing table topics, you could be in a lot of trouble. You'd be called up probably many times. Today, I want to reflect when we come to the meetings, and I'm doing it from my experience, but I ask you to reflect. When you come to the meetings, are you coming here because you feel an obligation? Are you coming here because it's a good time? Are you coming here to get the most out of this experience? It's not about getting your money's worth, because each meeting equates to $1.50 of the $39 each weekly meeting. So it's not about you've spent the money, I've got to come and get value for it. So ask yourself and evaluate yourself on why you're coming to the meetings, and are you going to get the most out of it? Because money is money. You know, we can get more of it. We can't get more of time. This hour that we spend together is very precious and is not to be wasted. Today, I talked about self-evaluation and exploring your Toastmaster experience. The purpose was to reinstate the importance of this meeting. It's not that we come here to succeed. It's come here for the experience, whatever that might be. So don't wait for success. My advice is to proceed without it. Double Toastmaster.